At one time, maybe it's hard to believe. Sometimes it's hard for me to believe sometimes I come across my old prison ID that I used to be a corrections officer, and it just wasn't a job that I liked at all. I always wanted to be a police officer. I hated being, not that I was really confined, because I worked in a kind of more of an older prison in North Carolina that had dormitories. So I would get assigned like dorm 1 or dorm 5, or I would be in charge of yard 2, where I would walk. I'd come in and basically walk the fence line in the beginning of my shift to make sure there weren't any. I remember one time a guy escaped on my on my shift. He got sliced up really bad by the razor wire, and he ended up turning himself back in. I remember the bloodhound came down from Raleigh, and it was so fucking hot out. The dog literally jumped off the hood of the car, ready to rock. They gave him a shirt and this, that, and the other thing. He ran around for a little bit, and he fucking went right back and jumped right on the truck and said, "Fuck this, man." It's literally what the bloodhound did. I was like, "I'm with you, man. This is bullshit," But this is very... the uniform and all that stuff and the bells and whistles that come with it and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, it's cool. The little Batman utility belt they give you, but I put up with a lot of bullshit at that job, just like this job. So I'm more prepared for it now. I think I was 26 or 27. Where are you going, you? And I put up with a lot of, I remember one time a black inmate said to me, "Officer so-and-so, where are you going? What are you talking to me for?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, you're a white guy. Why would you talk to me? I'm a black guy." And I said, he's running a circle. I said, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, he's been down in prison so long that, people become institutionalized, and I quickly became, what? Okay. I quickly became, don't run into me. You'll knock me on my ass last time. I quickly became disillusioned with the whole thing. Like, oh, okay, so what we do is we come here, okay? We go through the gate. I remember my first day I reported, and I went through the gate. I remember the gate, this big gate. They bust me and they go, "Go ahead." So I went in. The gate closes behind you, and they go, "Just walk over to that white building and go down the stairs." And so I walked down this old, like, Civil War building, down the stairs, and waited with 12 other people. 8 of them were already on that schedule, and 4 of us were new. And I remember an inmate came up to me when I was carrying my uniforms and goes, "Hey man, if you need those pants hemmed or whatever, drop a couple of them in the laundry basket, and I'll take care of them for like $5 or something." And I said, "What?" I was like, "Well, can I get in trouble for that?" He goes, "Yeah, you can get in trouble for that. That's why you're dropping them in the laundry basket, and you can just say you left them by accident, but I'll take care of them and I'll put them under the garbage bag. In the morning they'll be done." And I said, "Okay." So I had a blast talking to I'm just too much of a people person, you know what I mean, to sit there. And there was a lot of cool cool guys that, really good stories, and, real logistical, stuff. They weren't bullshitting. There wasn't really a lot of action because it was a minimum custody and people were trying to get out, So people would come back on work release. They'd come over to to the trailer, or I'd get on the bus and count them before they went to the laundry. And you know, guys knew, you know, inmates knew that I was, you know, I didn't take this shit too seriously. So you know, we would fuck with each other, you know what I mean, in a good natured type way. I'd come in the morning at like 4:45, and they gave you, like, one part of the uniform, the old part was a whistle, you know, and they just kept it as part of the uniform. And it's a valuable tool if you ever lose your walkie-talkie, you know. And I would come in the morning in this old, it used to probably be a military barracks. I'd come in the morning, I'd put my lunch down, and it would be the first count, and they'd go building 1. I'd walk around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah blah blah, and you know, call the control, blah 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 blah. Here's my count. 5 minutes later, count's cleared. Da, 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 da. And as soon as you get in, somebody comes up to your desk and is like, "Hey man," I go, "Listen, I just got here, okay? There's toilet paper in the bathroom." You know what I mean? Like, there was always something, you know, like, always somebody trying to run a diversion on you to take your shit, take your time, so something could go on over there. You know what I mean? So, you know, in the beginning, I would, you know, check people's lockers. I remember one time I found condoms, and this is an all-male, you know, obviously. And the guy's like, "I ain't know, you know." I said, "Man, I listen, I found them under your bed. You know, I'm not saying they're yours. I gotta write it up, you know." And, you know, what he was doing was he probably was what he was or whatever. And there's a lot of guys, listen, man, there was a lot of wannabe tough guys that they would meet their families and present one side of the coin to them, but on the other side of the coin, they would have a girlfriend, you know, or, you know, a little feminine guy that would be their girlfriend, and do their errands and, you know, other things, you know. And I used to have a gay sergeant try to, you know, he would just fuck with me, you know what I mean, constantly. Like, we had a hurricane, and he made me walk through the hurricane in like fucking ankle deep water. I had these huge boots on and all this, you know, like raincoat stuff on, and it's hot too, you know. And he called me up to the control office through the pouring rain, and he was like, "Oh, I forgot what I called you for." And I said, "Listen, man, I'm about 5 minutes away, okay, if you know what I mean." And he was like, "No, I don't know." I go, "Well, you're going to find out what the fuck I mean today. You call me up to this motherfucking office one more time, I don't care who's in here, okay? I don't care if the lieutenant's in the next office or whatever. You're going to find out. I'm going to give you a quick tour on what I'm all about." And the next day I seen him, I said, "You know what we need to do, Nixon? We need to just get together outside of here and just, you know, as gentlemen, go have a cup of coffee." And he was like, "Well," I go, "Well, because you have such a fucking interest in me. I want to make sure I can answer all of your questions in a way that's intimate and fair to you. And we're not here, you know, where, you know, you can ask me whatever you want and you can feel comfortable, you know what I mean? Because you enjoy talking to me so much, you know." My sergeant in charge, you know, and listen, I don't even like talking about it because it's just such a fucking stupid, it was just such a fucking stupid job, you know? It really was. It was just a fucking stupid job. And I quickly, you know, Sergeant Huff, he said to me, he's like, you're not, this isn't for you, you know what I mean? And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know." He said, don't take that the wrong way, but you're a thinker, you know what I mean? You're gonna do something else with your life. You're not gonna want to be here, you know what I mean? You see how once you get on the other side of the fence and you see how ludicrous it is. And I would watch guys that had very just pussies, you know what I mean, turn into, you know, because they can't control their wife at home or watch TV when they get home. Their wife would have control of the remote. They would turn into like the universal soldier and fuck with people for no reason. And that's ended up how I ended up leaving. Some dude I knew from the gym that drove a Mustang, Officer Watkins, he would just always try to like find shit, you know. And yeah, don't get me wrong, you could find shit. I found, you know, I mean, I had an investigation one time where I found a bunch of heroin coming in and this, that, and the other thing. Well, guess what? The dude was related to a dude that worked here, and a dude put his hands on me, like slapped my hand, which is you know, it's a felony assault, you know, for touching me. And I boxed the shit out of them real quick, and they nothing happened. You know what I mean? Nothing happened. And then inmates would try to set me up that were, you know, from, you know, because there was a lot of inmates that were related to a lot of people that were in charge, you know, and they would try to, like, you know, get me to bring them shit in, and I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, dude, I don't even know you, you know. And I would bring shit in, you know, the Super Bowl, I would bring shit in. I remember I gave my one guy, his name was Joseph Pipkin. He was about 4 or 5, little black dude who's always fucked up. You know, they kept him medicated at the nurse's station, but he was just such a good dude. He always had a smile on his face. He was fun to be around. And you know, I gave him like $20 for his birthday. You know what I mean? And you know, I'd have guys run to the canteen for me, and I would tip them, you know. Or they would bring me my lunch, you know, like I would call the kitchen and say, hey, Officer Belcher, what do you got today? And she's like, oh, we got biscuits and gravy. Ugh. Or we got grits and shrimp. Oh, yuck. You know what I mean? Or she'd be like, oh, we got liver and onions. I'd be like, you know. And, you know, one time I came in there at like 5 in the morning, and it was winter time, and I get really bad seasonal depression. I just remember all the stars being in the sky and all the spotlights and shit. And there's a weight pile, and a guy said to me, you know, we were fucking around. I didn't think anybody would see me, but he's like, you can't bench this right here. I was thinking it was like 305. I got under it. He spotted me. I got like 3 or 4 real quick, and they called me up to the office and were like, what the fuck are you doing? I said, man, I don't know. I said, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like, I even bought pain pills, you know, off the inmates. One of the inmates turned me on to selling drugs, weed, which I don't really consider a drug, when I got out of there. And he was just a really bright kid, and he got involved in a police officer's murder. I had a home invasion, and he was telling me, you know, you need to start carrying your gun and da-da-da-da. And I was like, man, I'm not carrying a gun with a pound of weed in my car or a couple pounds. I'm not going to jail for trafficking shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked in the jail. I'm not going. And, you know, he had just gotten out of jail on a coke charge. He was 19. He went away to like 23. They found him with like $300,000 in his car, and they ran through a swamp, and he was already ready to go back to jail. And then he went and robbed somebody. He had a beautiful girlfriend. They just had a kid. His parents had money. He had no fucking reason to even be out on the streets. He could have worked at his dad's cabinet shop, making $15 an hour. He didn't have to do any of it. You know what I mean? He could have sat at home and played PlayStation. He got addicted to the adrenaline. You know, they robbed a guy at gunpoint. The guy chased them. You know, shots were fired at both vehicles, back and forth, exchanged, and obviously the police got involved, and a cop went to pursue them. On the way to pursuing them on like Shipyard Boulevard in Wilmington, he hit a box, or swerved to hit a box in the road. I don't know why he would even swerve at 100 miles per hour. He swerved, his car blew up, hit a tree. So when they got arrested, they got charged with the fucking, and I just remember seeing it on the news going, what the fuck, Matt? And then when I moved down here, Matt called me from federal prison. You know, he got a phone. You know, he was never good to his girlfriend. She ended up, you know, he just, was a playboy. You know what I mean? Like, he just did, you know, it just was a sad, you know, I just go, man, you got everything anybody would ever want, and it's just not enough for some of these people. And it sucked. You know what I mean? It was just a shitty job. I would have rather been a police officer. I planned on staying and transferring to the sheriff's department and then becoming a deputy and all that shit. But it was like, you know what? I'm not good at political shit. I'm not good at making alliances with people. I don't give a fuck about what goes on at work or whatever. I don't care if people like me. And in that kind of job, you have to care what people, your coworkers and people that can elevate. I just don't care. You're not paying me. I've never been the type of person that would sell out and do whatever you needed done and follow somebody blindly. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a career person, you know? And it's hurt me in various, avenues. But no, it just sucked. It was just a goofy job. I don't talk about it much because there's other stories and stuff like that. But it's like, it's not as glamorous. Getting up in the morning, putting a uniform on, going to get it dry cleaned, putting all your shit on, going in there and just working with a bunch of losers. The inmates were so much cooler than the people I worked with. And I just didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. So I got out of it and went back into doing pest control. You know what I mean? I wish there was more to it than that. I mean, there's a story that why I ended up quitting and stuff, but it sucked.